Click, buy, deliver with the 2-time Motorcycle News Dealer of the Year, Colchester, Kawasaki. Proud sponsors of Chasing the Racing.
3, 2, 1, and welcome back to Chasing the Racing, episode 87. And we have actually had Jamie on before, but it was a long time ago, and it was in a physio room at the TT. So it's nice to get you by yourself, and it's been a long time coming. We've been trying to get this sorted for a while.
It's like the Scarlet Pimpernel of interviews. It's like, I'm too busy, Dominic. I can't do this. Right? You're 10 minutes late. You can't do this. You can't do that. But no, it's great to have you back. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Jamie Coward on the return here.
Kept blaming it on the kids, you know. Kids weren't even at home that day.
I just can't be asked to listen to his
I just wanted peace and quiet, and I knew you were coming, so I thought, fuck that.
Well played, Jamie. Well played. I like. Yeah, you're looking thin again.
Okay, now
like,
I wish. Weight scales don't say that.
I'm telling you, I remember when Jamie was fat, Chrissy. He was drinking beer, full of good crack, and still equally as fast. Now he's faster, thinner, and more sensible. This is a different Jamie Coward.
Trying my best.
Did you just probably hit the cycling or something? Is that?
No, it was. Like I said, Dom said I was quite a fat knacker when about 3 or 4 years ago, and I signed for a team. Radcliffe Racing in the Isle of Man, and they got me onto like a personal trainer, and he gave me some stuff to do at the gym and blah 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 when we could go and stuff. And I just started doing it then, and I just lost. I was like 16 stone or something. I'm down to 14 or something now or something. So it's it was just down to them really.
It does make a bit of difference on the little bikes as well, especially, doesn't it? And obviously,
it helps everything just in normal life as well. For example, I'd lost obviously 2 stone, and at the time Lily were about 2 stone, and I walked down into Ebden Bridge local village, and I thought to myself, fucking bejesus, I used to carry this around without her. I had it on my back, and I thought, look, this is sore. Mm-hmm. And when I got back, I thought, that's what I used to carry on top of what I had that and Lily on top, you know. So
I noticed a few kilos made the difference, even though, like, say, out running and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you were actually hold like a couple of kilograms of fat,
it's crazy, really.
I'm on a ketogenic diet at the moment.
I heard that in the last thing, and I thought, what the fuck's this chatting here?
It's basically just cutting carbs out of diet. So it's
anything.
I seen that you had a bit of salmon and a bit of cheese and some olives on a plate the other day.
How shit did that look?
To be honest, I do like salmon. I like smoked salmon and scrambled eggs on toast.
Perfect.
Absolutely
add
awesome.
Some cream cheese into it.
I seen that. Yeah.
When did we turn into a cooking program here? We're talking about motorcycles here.
I've got obviously you've got a very distinctive look with your beard, and then on your cap as well. That's like a Viking sort of beard look. Is that a sponsor?
Yeah, Brawn Beard Oils. They've sponsored me for fucking 3 or 4 years now or something, 4 or 5 years.
And that wasn't actually a set up plug as well.
No, definitely not.
But all seriously, you know you made it when your face is getting sponsored. You know what I mean?
It's not my face, it's just my beard.
That's what I'm saying, because they sponsor Lee Johnson as well. You're in like running top lads.
They sponsored Lee first, and I just kept pecking his head and blagging him to see if he could help me out a little bit, and he did. He succumb to my charm eventually.
Does that just is it like a conditioner or something?
Yeah, it's just oil.
So we've gone from cooking to hygiene.
It's just a beard oil. You just literally have a shower in the morning, just slap a bit on your hands, rub it in, and it just makes it nice and soft, and it's fucking great.
Hey, hold on, they've actually got their own podcast. They're a Scottish firm, and they've got their own podcast, and there's a cracking interview on that. So really, we can stop ours now, Chrissy. Just put the plug on for Brawn Beers Oils, and then just go from there.
He has a Scottish comedian doing it. It's quite funny, to be fair.
Is he actually,
he's actually funnier than you, which is awesome.
He's hellish. He's so, honestly, I've actually listened to a couple of them. Honestly, they're brilliant. They are absolutely brilliant.
He has all sorts of people on as well. John, to be fair, with Brawn Beard, he sponsors a lot of people: MMA fighters, skateboarders, BMX people, downhill riders. The reason he got into doing the Brawn Beard oil, for some bizarre reason, he had a crash. He did downhill biking, had a crash and broke his spine, so he couldn't go back. So I don't know how the hell it come to making beard oil, but that's how it come to how it is now.
Obviously it is a distinctive look, but it's like a cool,
isn't it?
It's a cool brand, isn't it? And it's
it's nice. Like I said, it's not just, he doesn't just sponsor me and Lee. He sponsors a lot of different athletes and sport people, you know. So it's nice for him. He loves it, and he likes coming to watch and stuff. It's good.
I was about to say, did he sponsor Lewis Rollo? No.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
There you are. You're one of your arch nemesis.
He sponsors Lewis Rollo. Lewis doesn't have a beard on him. I don't think he's growing any pubes yet. But
I was about to say, is there a minimum requirement? Because I'm thinking I am the most
Brazilian.
Honestly, I can't. I'm gutted. I'm the only woodcutter, I think, in the country I can't grow a beard.
You'd suit a beard as well.
You could honestly, you could run straight into being a woodcutter.
Imagine walking around woods with an axe and a big beard.
Do you know, I used to,
I've got a big tool in my hand, but it's not an axe, son.
Years ago, I did actually try to grow a beard, and at the time I was riding in Superstock 600, and the team had a contract where we had to be clean shaven for race.
Yeah,
for race
shut
day.
up, man.
It's funny you say that. A lot of people have said to me, or not me, my mum probably, because obviously I'd just shout at them and give them some abuse, but they've said that his appearance probably doesn't let him help with sponsorship and getting attracting rides.
Quite the opposite.
I tell you who said that. Paul Eden. He was at Silicon Engineer at once upon a time, and he said to my mum, he said that Jamie's, you can't really tell what his age is, because obviously when I shave it off I'm like 14, but with it I'm about 35, which I'm not. So he said that one of the downfalls probably of Jamie is with his appearance. If you shave clean shaven, you probably get a lot more sponsorship. I don't agree with that, but that's just how it is.
Do you know, what would it take for you to take your beard? No, if Taz came to you and said, no money, but if Taz came to you and said, right, we'll do all the roads, you can do BSB.
Yeah, if someone come along like that, well, to be fair, Lee obviously didn't have a beard during the race season. He's still sponsored by him. He just grows it on the winter, so I could get rid of it and just be like a young boy again.
He's one of these people, like, you ever see like The Simpsons, you know, when Homer has a shave and he turns around, the beard comes out, he'd have to pull in at fucking Ramsey to have a shave, you know. It's like effectively he'll say, look, you need to clean shave. You'd be like, well, I'm 10 second lead in the senior, I've got enough time just to pull over, get the bum fluff off and go from there. My God, I feel like we've jumped straight back in the deep end here. I'm trying to think, we don't even know what episode it was when we had yourself, Adam McLean, we had it with the physio Scott and TT Cases, Stephen, the Flash there. We had it in all sorts, and that felt like that was a long time ago.
That was 2018, wasn't it?
Was
that one of your first one? Yeah,
it was when it was the
really bad year. We really shit, wasn't it?
Yeah. Now, when we get returning guests on the podcast, the sort of the usual is that the first time we'll have them on, we'll go through the career kind of step by step, and where did you start, where did you get to, and then the returning guests it's more about like
open crack,
and like what you've been up to this year and stuff. Where for you, because there was so many people in that room, we didn't really get a good flavour of like how you got into racing and all that. So I guess we can cover that today. How old are you now?
30. Just gone 30.
And how old are you? How old were you when you first like started racing?
17. I left school, and mum and dad couldn't afford to obviously run me, so I had to get a job. Once I got a job, my first wage went into my first bike, which me and my dad built in a shed in the back of the garden.
And was it always, growing up, did you always have that as a goal in mind?
Yeah. Me, same as Dom probably. I went round the country, to Ireland, probably all around the world to be fair, with my dad, watching my dad racing, and I just always wanted to do it, you know. So it's just one of them, just like in the blood, I suppose, you know. I remember like Dad travelled all over Belgium, went to Le Mans. He rode at we rode at Le Mans at the 24-hour race, the bike race. But before that, they had a ICGP round, which were like 250, 350 TZ Yamahas. And my dad rode and actually won the race. And it was just before the start of the Le Mans 24 hours. So the crowd, obviously the whole stadium were lined and everything. I was at the top and I'm like, whoa, that's amazing. You know, you just get things like that. It just, you want that yourself kind of thing when you're such a young age, you know. When I see my dad do that, it was crazy.
And was it always road racing?
Yeah, my dad used to just, that's all my dad ever did. Obviously, it does what I did. Well, he went short circuit racing for a little bit, and obviously to the roads, you know. So at the beginning of the year, like everyone does. But yeah, Dad just went road racing in Ireland. He actually was Irish champion two or three times, I think. He rode a 250 as well, and he's done quite a lot, to be fair.
See, me and Jamie come from the same stock, you see. We're like paddock brats, you know, we're like the poor ends, you know what I mean?
To be fair, I didn't really know you though.
No, you had taste back then.
Oh, you had taste.
No, it's one of those. I think the first time, did you have a mullet? You did, didn't you?
I think I did have a mullet, yeah.
You had green bits in it, right? He turned up, right? I remember, like, this is before I was even racing the Isle of Man. You must, like, I think Jamie went straight from bang to bang. You got your national, straight went to the Isle of Man. And bearing in mind, I'm gonna touch on a sore note here. What pisses me off about road racing is, if you're fast, they immediately say you're going to die early. Now, all the fast lads that have gone through this sport have flip a coin's the wrong terminology, but they said that about Michael Dunlop, Dean Harrison, and that continuation of the sport. Anyone who's fast, very off the bat, immediately gets tagged with you're too dangerous, you're going to kill yourself, and you've got to prove yourself through that years as well as going faster, and you've almost got to calm down. When you watch Michael Dunlop's career from an early age, he was unbelievably ragged. And that the faster he's got, actually more he's calmed down. And unfortunately, Jamie, when he went to the Manx, I'm telling your story here now. No, but like when he went to the Manx, him and my dad, like they used to race, but like more towards the ends of they're still racing now, but the end of their career is more on the classic scene, and it was always at bash and bars. And Jamie arrived at the Manx, and it was just Jamie got flagged with that. Is that not fair to say?
It was, to be fair, when I first went. Yeah.
And was that sort of feedback? Was it fair? Were you ragged?
I wouldn't have said so, no. But I think obviously because I'd not really, obviously we haven't gone through my career, but I didn't really ride a modern bike until I went to the Manx Grand Prix. I just jumped on an R6 and went to the Manx Grand Prix, and I think I finished fourth in the newcomers race, and then I did the junior, but I couldn't afford to do the senior, so I think I finished about a 10th or 9th or something. I might have been somewhere around there in the junior. It was my first year, but I've never ridden a modern bike before. I just ridden, only thing that were modernish that I'd ridden were a CBR 600 steel frame. And I jumped off that onto this R6 Yamaha, which luckily the guy gave it me and just said he actually paid for the tyres as well. A local lad called Alan Stansfield. He gave me the bike and he said, I don't want you to go riding the classic stuff. I want you to go on something, when you go in there, I want you to go on something it's been prepared. And it was prepared for the job because it were used by a guy called Ian Armstrong. And you might not have, I don't think, but he were a good lad back in the day on the at the TT. And
when you keep referring to the fact at that point you hadn't ridden modern stuff, were you racing the classics bikes in the CRMC?
No, I never did the CRMC. My first ever season, 2017, I just did, because obviously I was a novice, I just went and did the World 100 Championship.
So Anglesey was your first outing?
Yeah, it was. It were quite funny actually, because mine and your friends, they were, it's heavy knowing.
Yeah, so there was like three of us. There was like a bunch of us, but all came from that classic background, like totally, and it's almost like totally segregated, where almost a little bit more opinionated as far as, like, I'm going to go back onto that Manx Grand Prix point. Jamie wasn't riding ragged. He got a 37-mile long lap. There's no one who followed him, stuck with him, and never saw him in a corner having hairy moments. You know how people get judged? Is your lap speed.
That's what it is. You get judged on your lap. I went there having no experience on modern bikes, and I think I got up to 114 mile an hour or something they were pre-injected R6 as well, just the year before they went to injection.
Hickman touched on that. His first lap speed, he didn't want to know his times.
I didn't actually want to know my times, but I just went and rode around. But by the end of the fortnight or the junior race, I got up to like 114 mile, 115 mile an hour, which I'd actually lapped faster. I'd lap faster than the guy Ian Armstrong that had ridden it before. I think that's true fact, but I'm sure it is, because I remember double checking. Like,
but you see, that was like the Manx Grand Prix, not the TT level, and it was a simple case of Jamie was breaking the mould at that point. Jamie's not the first person to do it, but it was a fact of a classic rider almost stays as a classic rider. And not very many people start on classics, then break into the modern stuff. Jamie had to work on that backwards in that way. So him hopping off a classic bike,
I just didn't have the funding. My mum and dad couldn't afford to buy me a modern bike, or a new bike. So I had to go what we had in the garage or what was just left on the floor that my dad not used.
And then him going straight into that lap speed was like, whoa, he doesn't. And that was more of a, because we've all grown up together, it was a bit like, whoa, Jamie. It was almost like you need to slow it down in a way, but then you did the opposite.
Do you know the World 100 Club, do they have a specific classic race?
At the time, but obviously when it was like, what 2021 now, it's like nearly, I was 17, so 2007. Yeah, 9, yeah. Like so back then they did just have like a one classic race, but now obviously by the times not many people go to there because they go to CRMC, it's changed. But yeah, back then they were just like one like race for that class.
And as World 100, do they just do Anglesey?
They do Anglesey in Alton Park as well.
Oh, right. But I went another one.
No, they didn't. A long time ago, they went to Brighton Promenade. Is it Brighton?
Right.
They used to have a race at Brighton Promenade, a long road race at Brighton there. But they used to go there as well, I think. If
What's
I
that
remember right.
racetrack in the middle of Aintree? You know, the one in the middle of the horse track.
That were run by. I think that were like run by them, but under a different club, I think.
Right.
So people went from Wirral 100 to that club to help
tell you
out.
what, Anglesea's a mega track. It's such a shame that that road into Anglesey is so narrow. Otherwise, like
it's got to be one of the best tracks in England. It's just like I said, it's just such a shame where it is.
Also,
Wales.
It's
not so much Wales, but just the actual, the actual thing.
Commercially, in terms of attracting a big crowd, there's no city or
there's no like accommodation for anyone.
Do you know if you're right at the bottom left of Wales, and you want to get to North Wales, I think someone once told me it's quicker to go all the way to like Cardiff up the M6 and then back across than it is to go through the middle of Wales.
Just go like a bird.
Oh, it's the roads.
Yeah. Like in terms of the infrastructure, but Anglesey is a place. I mean, do you know the Royals holiday in Anglesey?
Yeah. What is it? Who is it flies the helicopter around there, don't it? Charles or William or whatever they used to do. Oh, Charles, sorry, William or Harry. One of them flies a helicopter around there, picking people out at sea when they fall off cliff.
Yeah.
I can just see him sitting there with a cigarette in the paper. Oh, not a fucking
I tell you what, another thing as well. Anglesey, the grip in the wet.
Oh, mate. Tell you a funny story here now. I went a couple of years after I'd been, obviously my first season, I think it was maybe third or fourth year, I got a slab side Suzuki, that's another story for a bit later on in the year.
Slab side?
It's a
slab side Suzuki 750.
Is that a model?
No, that's a model. Yeah, they call it the slab side because it's just literally flat on the sides, so they call it a slab side.
The slingshot was before that.
Yeah, no, slingshot were after that.
That was it. There you go.
But
he knows nothing about bikes. He's British champion. You know what I mean? It's harsh, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I cut a long story short. I went there with a slab side that me and my dad had built in the shed. Bought it off eBay for £500. I went there and it was absolutely pissing it down one weekend, and I was fastest person there out of everybody on this slab side, 1985 slab side against all modern bikes, everything. By about a second or something.
That's mint.
Unbelievable. The place is amazing. Like I said, in the wet, it's amazing.
It sort of takes a bit to adjust your brain to how much grip it is.
Yeah.
Because
the only place that's a bit dodgy there, like coming out of that on the last corner to start finish straight, it's a bit off camber, innit? I've had a few big crashes there.
Also, I think there's painted lines.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
The worst thing they did at that circuit, right? If anyone listened to this, Google it, or there'll be YouTube clips. But you know when you come off the back and you could drop it down the hill, that corkscrew. What's that, like America? What Laguna Seca?
Laguna Seca. Yeah.
That corkscrew down the hill. You're just thinking, can we not just put a circle, go back up again, and like a kid in the slide? This is mint, and then boom, straight down.
I've never actually done. Do you know what they call the international?
Yeah, I've done that a few times. Yeah, it's shit.
The worst thing is, it's just like going down the road, going, look what you could have had. You know what I mean?
It is shit. It's just all you do is go down, head towards that corkscrew, just swing a left, and just go over like a bit of a crest into a hairpin, and then back down to that last corner. It's a bit shit, really.
It is like when you look what you've got, you think, oh, for God's sake.
So do you know that first Manx that you're obviously clearly impressed straight away? Did that sort of attract? Were you getting offered rides for the following year, or where did that lead to?
It was the mullet slowing him down.
Yeah, I did. I went. I actually signed for a team. We've jumped quite a long way into my career, but yeah, I went. Signed for a team. Well, not signed for a team, but I went to like a local team, like a group of lads that shook hands kind of thing, yeah, and had a beer, and we like agreed, and we put a team together and went racing with this team, like in the valley, like a big group of people, just put some money together and went racing with them, called Hotties Thermal Packs. It were I rode for them for. I think I went back to the Manx Grand Prix again with the Suzuki, but it was just a box standard Suzuki. It was like when the new model came out, the L1, I think they call it, or something like that. And went back there, and back so I went faster again, but I couldn't afford. I was paying for the entries and stuff, and I couldn't afford to do the senior. But we impressed. I think I might think 7th or something in the junior or whatever. But obviously on a stock 600 against people on the tuned R6s and stuff like that, it was a bit difficult. Then the year after that, I stuck with them. And then I went back to Manx Grand Prix 3 times. And then I actually got a ride for Barnes Racing, who sponsors John Holden with the sidecars. And he put me on an R6. I left the Hotties Thermal Pack team because he went a bit pear-shaped, and signed for him, or shook hands with him for the to go back to the Manx, and then just jumped on the R6 and went back to the Manx. It was Roy Richardson. You remember Roy Richardson?
Oh yeah,
he actually
Roy
rode.
Boy.
Yeah, he actually rode the R6 that I rode at the TT.
Now, Roy Boy, right? He used to wear like these. Was it bright orange?
Bright orange,
bright orange, everything, right? He was on the. Now that's another part of Jamie's career was a Aprilia 450. You know, the motocross conversion kit.
He's done all sorts of shit, mate. You were believable.
He's ridden a lot.
I've ridden all sorts. Donkeys and
if his wife's
women
listening,
as well.
if his wife, but
is that the Aprilia RV 450?
I tell you what, it was for. It was.
We're jumping
so far in front of you. But remember the super teens that you did?
Yeah.
The 125s, they went to 450s, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, that were it. But what they did is they had a 550 engine.
Yeah.
So they put the 550 engine in the thing and we went racing super twins on the 550 against the 650s.
Because I remember when a lad called Will Hodgson was developing
he rode there.
that.
Remember a guy called James Fulcard?
Yeah, I'm friends with James.
Yeah, well, he was my like
James,
yeah. he were like not my teammate, but he rode for the Thundersport. He rode Thundersport that year. I rode for that team. And he did the Thundersport. He won the Thundersport Championship that year. I rode for the team. We had some good results on it, to be fair. We got to finish at the TT, which no one thought we'd do. And then I think we finished 6th at the Northwest, which is unbelievable because it were like 15 brake horsepower down, and I'm a big fat lump.
Yeah.
And for me to pull that along round there, it's amazing, to be fair. So yeah, I enjoyed the bike. It was a really nice bike to ride.
That was actually lighter than the Aprilia 125. So you could ride the Aprilia when you were 12, and then you would move up to that, like when you were like say 14 or 15, and it was actually lighter and more power. I tested it once at Cattle Park. I really liked the bike. I thought it was good.
I like the engine being so low, the centre of gravity. It was so nice to turn and steer, and it was amazing.
But there we go. I do apologise about that one. That was my interruption. But Roy Boy had a huge crash on one of those at Ballygarry, wasn't it? Yeah. Broke his pelvic. It was his pelvic. Lucky lad to be here anyway. But so quickly going back, even go back further than that. But he did 2 years with Thermalite. Is that right?
No, they were called. The hottest thermal packs. They were called.
Thermal pack. Yeah. So you did 2 years with them.
The hottest thermal packs. It was Rod Lee. There's a lad down the valley called Rod Lee that owns like a bit of a motorcycle shop. Well, in the time, way back when, like 80s, 90s, or 80s, 70s, 80s, it was like one of the biggest motocross shops in the UK, and people used to just go down to him for everything.
Right.
So he helped out and built the bikes and stuff like that, and blah blah blah.
So you went. So I'm just trying to put your Manx Grand Prix guy, your Manx Grand Prix career. So you went on the pre-injection.
Yeah.
First year. Second year you went back with
the Suzuki, which was just a box standard.
That was it. And then your third year was the Barnes.
The third year we actually put a cam. Me and my dad built the engine, or my dad built the engine. We put a cam in the Suzuki, and we went to I did the 700 that year. I've done all sorts, but I went to 700 that year, and we were racing against Tad Suzuki and Michael Dunlop, and there's a video on YouTube if anyone's seen it. Just put in Jamie Coward at 700. My dad actually put it on, but it's me, Michael Dunlop, and Connor Cummins racing at 700, and I won this bag of shit not a bag of shit, but a bike that me and my dad had built in garage, and it was faster than it comes along start finish straight down there, and it was faster than the Tad Suzuki. Me and my dad built the engine in the garage, and it was flying. It was absolutely stonking past this Tad Suzuki in a straight line. It was unbelievable. You know what them Tad Suzukis are like as well, with 750 motors in.
Well, there goes his task position. So, that's it. So right. So we've gone from that bike to that bike to that bike. So Barnes, you up to Barnes.
Yeah, I jumped to the Barnes racing R6
on your last Manx Grand Prix.
Yeah, last Manx Grand Prix year, and I banjoed myself at Laurel Bank.
You've actually had a crash round there.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, I've done all sorts.
Right. No,
Laurel Bank. I've had two at Laurel Bank. Have I had two at Laurel Bank? No, what? I think I've had one. But I had a crash I went back with the R6, but Roy rode, and obviously Roy were like mentoring me and helping me out because he was doing the Manx Grand Prix classic bikes at the time, and I was lapping at 121 mile an hour or something in practice, and no one else was. Everyone was doing that 116s.
Now I've got a theory behind that because I did that not the year before. It was on WH. Like we had the R6, Holly's R6 there, and I remember going out because me and him do the pre-TT on the classic bikes. My first year at the pre-TT, my first year there, and we're up to speed. I think for the first night of practice, like everyone's still going around. But me and it, Jamie's got like the lap records around Balown Circuit on the classic super bikes, and also you've got. How many lap records have you got?
I've only got the one. I think. I'm not too sure about the 350 and 500 ones, but I've definitely got the classic superbike.
Yeah,
cool little track there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's a hell of a track, because you've got numerous wins round there.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I think it's 13 or something, or 12 or something like that. I can't remember, but something like that.
That's hellish. That's a hellish amount. But I'm trying to. What was I going to say there? What was I going to say?
Yeah, I went to. Obviously that year I rode for Barnes Racing. In practice, I were flying, and we came to the last night of practice. You know, it's like you just go out for one steady lap, some new tyres on, new chain, blah blah blah. Going along Silver Straight, it expired. It snapped a crank. So luckily, what's it called? Ian Barnes. Ian had the engine sent across, or his spare engine. And unfortunately, it didn't arrive in time for the next practice session, so I had to go like blind with it into the race, and it just sounded flat, and it was damp, and I came into Laurel Bank, and by that time I think someone said I was leading by miles anyway, but came into Laurel Bank and just took the front and lost the front, and I crashed.
Like going
yeah,
in
you know,
before.
you go. I can't remember what it's called, but the White Bridge, the long fast left and the right, and you flick you go left, and you go into Laurel Bank itself, where just before Black Double in mile 9, the right hander there, I just tipped into there, and it was just lost the front on the white line and went straight into there.
Like Danny Webb crashed.
That's where Danny Webb crashed. Yeah.
I've done that loads of times on the PlayStation.
God, do you play that PlayStation?
I did, but I don't anymore.
It boils my head.
Yeah, it's.
I remember like we did that challenge thing here.
It's just hard. The physics on it are shite out there. It's just not very good.
Like I say, like you're on the game. He's got a sponsored face, and he's on a PlayStation game. You can't go any higher.
What was the crack for that? Did they just come round and
just came round and said we're doing this build, we're making this game. Would you want to come on or whatever? And we just said yeah.
Just say like 5% commission.
Fucking, I wish I did. I didn't.
I mean, it's cool. It's a cool thing just for you. Like, say, if you're walking in the shops and you say to your kids, "Oh, like I'm on that."
Yeah. It's like so. It's strange. It's all everything.
Lily and Stanley would be like, "We know, Dad."
Yeah, we know.
Stop telling us every time we come to the
on the PlayStation. Yeah, it's a bit. It was a bit. Initially, it was a bit strange. She had like local people walking around going, "Oh, I've played with you." It sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? Play with you on that PlayStation game.
My youngest played with you.
Do you know the area that you live? Is racing quite well followed? Do you know, like, are you sort of?
Yeah, it's quite a motorbikey sort of place. I know it's full of lesbians as well, but it's quite a.
Now you've said that on every interview so far, and I'm waiting for you to say it on ours. So like, this is apparent. Hold on, it's your fact.
Lesbian capital of the world is Ebden Bridge.
Is it?
I don't know if that's an actual true fact. I will check, but I'm sure it's something to do with it.
Chrissy,
something
along in the water.
Chrissy, we're going to send you down there and see how many you can turn. That's my plan. We're going to send you down there and see how many you can bag.
Yeah, but it's quite a strong following of bikes. To be fair, there's a lot of people that Stephen and Matty Ramsden, they race a sidecar. They do the TT and the obviously British Championship there around here. There's
Lee Johnson's
just up his field now, and he's just over at Silsden. Dougie Lampkin lives there and stuff like that, you know. So it's quite a Whittam not far away as well. Yeah, there's loads of people just locally that race to. Dave Leach actually were from round here as well initially.
I used to race for a team based in Marsden.
All right, yeah.
That's not too far.
No, it's not far. No. But yeah, it's quite a strong following, to be fair.
I've just been getting into a bit of trials, and I've
seen that. Yeah,
I searched for Dougie on Instagram and stuff. Yeah, it's unreal. Do you do trials?
I do a little bit. Yeah. I haven't been out really. Yeah, I've got a trials bike.
It's unreal. Do you know when you watch see a man in a machine totally in sync, and then put it?
What is it? Have you seen that Tony Bow?
I don't think
Spanish guy.
No, he keeps coming up on my face.
Tony Bow. Mm-hmm. I don't even know why he's got a front wheel in his motorcycle, because he's just on the back thing. He's just on the back all the time. It doesn't matter what he's doing. He's just on the back wheel everywhere. It's crazy.
You see one of our locals, Billy Bolt.
Oh yeah.
The thing is, Billy does that, but on something like 3 times as heavy on the enduro bikes, and it's the same.
It's funny you should say that, because I know it's obviously that Tony Bowes just trials, but he sometimes does the same on the enduro bike. It's just like I say, it's just man and machine, and it just as one, shall we say?
Yeah. Now, before we continue with your career, your trick, what you've been doing. You do a lot of pit biking. I know that.
Yeah, but I haven't been doing a lot recently, because obviously with this recent blah blah blah. But I do quite a lot of. Before the COVID struck, I were out like virtually nearly every weekend on my pit bike. Come rain or shine, and inside, outdoors.
Nothing like putting you on the spot, but do you know if you both had a race on the O'Valleys, who's got the
there's actually footage. There's actually footage of that. So
who got the better?
To be fair, it's quite equal, to be fair, isn't it? Even on the pit bikes as well. We go to remember the Fat Cats, we were scratching around with elbows.
I tell you what, it's mint. It's mint. You just tip up and you're like, "Hello, Jamie, you all right, Sunday?" Like, yeah, I'm just gonna go out, and at first, right, we both know we're doing it, because we just set up out different times, and we're like, we'll get Ryan, and then we're just looking at each other going,
End
right,
days like that,
and then
glued to each other.
The sweat's running off, and you're like, yeah, I'm just warming up, and it is honestly just it's min crack though. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
Do you do pit bikes, trials?
I do. Like I said, I just do everything I can.
Have you ever had to go flat track?
I did actually. I've been down to Pete Bose. Since me and you went there, I was shit. He was quite good, but I was absolute dog shit.
I tell you what though,
I can't understand that. Mate, it's so hard. It's just my brain couldn't tell my body to do it, kind of thing, you know.
Because Jamie was on the list for like the road races, you know, the pit again, the MCN London thing.
Yeah.
He couldn't make his boss's house fell down.
I want my boss's house. Want my boss's house. We had really bad floods, and obviously we're like a local firm, and there's a house, or like it's like a mill that got converted into flats. There's like a big wall at the back that's holding the field up, and with the floods it pushed this wall down and squashed some cars and stuff, and we had to go up there and sort it out. But it like the Tuesday or Wednesday before I meant to go down there, and I couldn't make it.
What do you usually do for your day job?
Builder. I'm like a ground worker. Pimp, Charlotte Pimpernel. Yeah, no, I'm a builder, ground worker.
And just beard model part time.
Beard model, yeah.
That's a bit of extra cash flow coming in on the side.
So we got up to basically the end of the Manx Grand Prix sort of era.
Yeah.
What was? I'm always interested in people who make the transition and like how it comes about, and like you. So after your third year at the Manx, had you had podium? How did you? I
didn't have a podium that last. Obviously, the second year I went back and I rode the Suzuki, which was not fast enough to go to win. But then the third year I should have won, but because I got knocked unconscious in the crash, the bike and the bike were absolutely obliterated. I couldn't race again, so I should have really won the senior and the junior that year, but I just fucked it up myself.
You knew you were up ready for the TT.
So then I just went. Ian Barnes luckily sponsored me again for the following season. So he actually sponsored me, for the following season. I went to the TT.
And is it a case of did the TT get in contact with you and say, would you like an application, or do you chase them?
I just literally put an entry in and just went. But I made a bit of a boob really when I rode that year. I racing against the Southerners against Michael and Connor.
Yes.
Paul Phillips got in touch with me.
Really?
But at the time I didn't know who he was, and I should have really done a bit more research, because I think at that time I could have been like one of his. In like a little bit of the bubble kind of thing, you know. But just I thought, who the fuck's this guy? What's he want kind of thing, and being a bit suspicious, and really I should have done a bit of research, and it could have been put me in a lot of better position as it was, you know what I mean? But I just went back on my own with them, and I rode for them, and I rode for a lad called Rick Abbott. Rick Abbott, another guy that followed classic racing quite a lot and followed me through my career. He bought me Honda Fireblade, so we went back with Honda Fireblade and R6.
And was it a case of were you practicing short circuit racing?
Short circuit, and I went back. I did the Northwest that year. That's the year I had the 450 Aprilia as well, or 550 Aprilia. So I had the 550 Aprilia, the R6, and the big bike.
And that was was that the first year at Northwest?
That was first year at the Northwest. Oh no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, the year it's so complicated. The year I went, the year my dad built the engine for the Suzuki, I went to the Northwest that year, and I think I finished 10th. Or something like that. I was quite way up. I remember going, and at the time me and Dean Harrison were like coming through with the ranks kind of thing. He was doing a lot of Scarborough and we went together as newcomers, and that year I finished in front of Dean as a newcomer, so we were quite a way back. But I think we finished not quite a way back, but maybe 3 or 4 or 5 positions behind me. And I think I finished about 11th or something like that in both the races. But I was a newcomer. Then obviously I went. That were another story. But then the year I went with a Honda, I went back with a Honda. I didn't take the R6 because it was too close to the TT. It's like I said, it's so complicated. It was so close to the TT. The guy Ian didn't want to go with the R6 just in case if anything happened, because the TT was priority kind of thing. But Rick actually let me go with his Fireblade, and I took the Aprilia. That's the year I finished 5th or 6th on the Aprilia in both the Super Twin races, and I had some good. I don't know what results I had, but I had some good results on the big bike as well. Just a stock Fireblade.
And from that point, did you sort of get picked up from a team or?
No. The year after that, or later that year. Oh God, it's so. I've got so much shit, so much stuff
Banged your head
going
so
on.
many times.
Not so much that, but it's just I've ridden. When you sit here and you're in this sort of position, you don't realise how many bikes you've ridden and what's happened. How many people have actually helped me. Yeah, it's weird. But that year, I think it was that year. I've ridden all sorts. I've ridden a 250 RS Honda as well at the Ulster Grand Prix. I think that was the year that that was the year that the Suzuki was standard, and I went to the Manx Grand Prix. But I went to the Ulster Grand Prix with the standard Suzuki and won the newcomers. You know that Dundrod Challenge race? I actually won that in the rain, and I won it by about 10, 12 seconds or something. And then, but that year as well, as a newcomer, I finished third on the podium in the 250 race. And it were a mega race, and it were a massive gaggle, about 6 or 7 of us, and it were funny because it were really dodgy weather conditions, and you know it's like at the Dundrod, you can see the weather coming, the fronts coming in and out, and it'd been pissing it down, and the guy that owns the 250 was like, I've had the fucking enough of changing these tyres and wheels, so you've got in what you got in. And luckily, as soon as he said that, the sun came out, and everyone went on wets, and I went on intermediates. And I thought, right, I need some big cojones here, and if I can hang on to this group, because Locker on like some like interbred 250, and it was just like a rocket ship, and he'd gone. But if I could hang in this group and stay with this group, I know it's going to dry out, and I've got a chance of getting a podium. And I managed to stay with him, and you know it's like when you watch someone in the wets, with wets on in the dry, like I thought, yes, I've got this. I kept going, and I managed to finish on the podium, but I've lost where we are now. But yeah, that's just another story.
It's mint, isn't it?
It's just so much stuff gone on. It's just amazing.
Just to put a rough sort of time frame on it, what sort of year are we talking of?
That was like the last. It was I don't know what year it was, but it was like the last. It was like the last year of the 250 race, kind of at the Ulster Grand Prix. So like the last big hoo-ha kind of thing of the 250s. Because I tell you what it was. Yeah, because remember Wayne Hamilton, who tragically got killed at the Manx Grand Prix he won the newcomers. Yeah, he won the newcomers, and then the junior he had a crash, and unfortunately he killed himself. But that year, that was the first year that like the twins came to like really, really competitive. And I remember in that race the twins set off behind us, and Farquhar and Hamilton, because they were like a bit of a hoo-ha going on, a bit of a ding dong with them two at the time, and they come past us through the floor bog. Farquhar and Hamilton just came right outside of us on these twins. It was unbelievable. It were crackers. But unfortunately, he come past me, and it were Farquhar won, but Hamilton just slipped off, and the last left before the right onto the start-finish straight and went down that little bit of a banking down there.
Forrest Dunn.
I remember coming past, and it were like, whoa, fucking hell, they're flare licking on like. But that was like the first year of the super twins as they are now virtually.
Like club level, it was like the stock twins. It was like it was actually really Ryan Farquhar, as far as the Irish scene's concerned, really when he actually injected money into it. And he made it into a development class, and it made it almost really unaffordable. That's the truth.
You know, the standard twins, I remember when they used to be in like the 60 horsepower sort of range. And then I remember like hearing like someone's got like over 70 horsepower. Twin. I was thinking, and then the next thing I heard somebody's got over 80. Now they've got over 100 a break.
Easy. See, the thing is, the rules and the elevation of it is massively gone. I can get billet cranks for them and stuff, but like years, so we're trying to keep them affordable. But then the power couldn't carry on with that.
It was meant to be like Farquhar made it for like an affordable class for people to come road racing.
Yeah.
And for, you know, it's like any class, it just turned into an app. It's probably it is the most expensive. I reckon it probably is the most expensive class out there now. If you're at the front with the ones I ride, I suppose.
But really, as far as like road racing is concerned, it's really the only proper development class. Not many people have superbikes. You know,
there's only like 3 or 4 teams that actually can run. They can run them, but there's only like probably 3 people that can ride a superbike around the Isle of Man.
Well, that's it. But like with that budget side of things, but like when you think about like the Super Twin, you can always tell it's a development class because you can never sell a bike for what you built it for. You know what I mean? You'd be lucky to get 15 grand for like a bike that's had 40, 50 grand spent on it.
It's amazing how much. It's unthinkable to think about how much they've actually spent on these. Because obviously, last year, KTS lads, they've been doing it since like day dot, and it's like unbelievable to think how much money they've thrown at it.
Like they ran Dan Cooper as well. Like before, that was before yourself, wasn't it?
They rode Dan for numerous years, and then not last year before that, the 2019 TT, that's about my first year with them, and Dan was still with them at the same time, so they had to build another bike. So
do you know, just before we move on from the last topic about the Ulster Grand Prix, do you think the Ulster Grand the racing will come back to the Ulster Grand Prix?
I'd like to think it would do, because it's probably one of the best circuits out there, and the weather's right and everything. Even if it's raining, I love it. It's an amazing place. But
they've run it in the rain.
They have to. Yeah, it's
excuse me.
Yeah, I'd like to think it would, but it's where they're going to get all the money from that they've lost to help it, or bring it back. There's only one person that can do that, so that's all the people. It's a government in it, but it's how much the government want it to run.
Oh, it is an unbelievable circuit. It really is, isn't it? And it's the only thing that's
probably the only race circuit that's like not been touched or untouched.
You know, the mad thing is, arguably, it's the safest track there.
There's lots of runoff, isn't there? And there's lots of
there are accidents. It's not 100% far from it's a road. It is a road race.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about, when you come into the first corner and then that slight next right, it's an open field. Even like going up to islands.
It's as safe as you'd like it.
Fast. I mean, my God, it's fast and it's brilliant. Absolutely.
That's a good quote. It's as safe as you would like it.
It's like you can't. It's not. It's road race. It's not safe. It's as safe as
all you bellends would turn up. You know what I mean? If it was
you'll be going by it sounds of it. It's Paul Phillips not phone yet. After that last interview.
Working it. But
talking about other road races, obviously you mentioned you do the 700 Northwest.
I could be here for hours. I've done all sorts.
Did you go over to Macau?
No, I've been invited numerous times, but I've never gone.
Do you just not fancy it, or does the missus not allow you to go? No,
not so much the missus. It's not that I don't fancy it, but it's just just being at the right time, the right team and stuff. I got invited. The first time I got invited when I rode for Radcliffe, because that was like me, Radcliffe Racing. That was like probably my breakthrough year into like the top 10, as I said, and stuff like that at the TT and everywhere. And it were. They invited me, but the team it's to send the bike over there, and then as it happens, I got shit on by the team anyway. But they didn't want to send the bike out over there, and then be sat in like a container for 3 months or whatever, and to have to get it back, and then within a week have it ready to go racing again. So
have you ever been over to watch?
No, never been over to watch.
It's a bit of a journey to go spectate.
If you did go and watch it, I don't think you'd actually watch it. Be that pissed.
I'd say you've got to get the subs down you. You've got to get the subs down you.
And just quick rundown on circuits. Is there any other sort of main circuits we've missed off?
I've been everywhere. I went to
rode for Pens 13.
That year that Danny Webb was the IRRC and won the championship.
Okay, so
I rode for that. I rode for them that year as well.
Is that a lot of racing in Europe?
Yeah.
Which
Imatra. I didn't do Chimay, which that were not for my own fault, but that was the year that James Cowton tragically lost his life, and I had a bad hand or whatever, and quite sore. So it was like the weekend. It was like the weekend after the 700, so I couldn't go or whatever. A couple of weeks after, but yeah, I went. There was Chimay. A place called Tricolore in Czech Republic, Horace, which is unbelievable. I love Horace.
Would you go back to Horace?
Yeah, I'd love to go back there if I could. Did Froberg.
What is that scene like then, tracks wise?
It's like probably say it's like Irish road racing really, but it's nice and hot. Sun's out.
Is it quite a well followed championship? Decent spectators.
Yeah, the Horace round, for example. No, not that round. All the rounds, but Horace. For the little story, the Horace round, the last race of the day on the Sunday, did the race, blah blah blah, and he come round to, I think it's Victor Gilmore used to race there, which is another Irish road, like national road racer, but they named the corner after him. And on that corner, on the last race and the last lap, or your cool down lap, you've got to stop. Literally, the corner's like lined with people, and if you do not have a beer, you won't let it go. Just keep turning your bike off, so we have to sit there and have a beer. Literally, honestly, it had like horns, chainsaws, all sorts going on, just like celebrating. Even if you finish last, first, everyone's got to stop for a beer. They come out with this big board full of beers, and you have one, you've got to have one. Take your helmet off, have one, and drive back.
And
Jamie's there like one. He never met there.
If you got the opportunity to do that again, is that like, for example, if there was a sponsor that came on board and had a budget,
yeah, I'd like to.
You could choose. Would you prefer to like do that sort of championship or like sort of BSB?
I think to further my career or whatever, to get better at the TT and the Northwest and stuff, you need to go to BSB, I think, or at super stock level to sharpen yourself even more than what you are already, But if you got offered where you don't have any other offers, and you could go there and do that, I'd love to go back and do it, yeah.
And so for the last few years, when you've been with Prez, have you done much, like say, big bike time? Do you do much big bike racing?
No, not really.
Short circuit?
It's just literally with Prez, not last year, like I said, the first year I actually rode for him when I rode for Pens. So there were Pens 13, I rode the BMW, but then he had an R6. So we did the TT, but that year we just did the TT and Southern 100 and stuff like that. And the year after that's when he bought the R1 and the R6, and then we just did the same again. We just did the Northwest, the Ultra Grand Prix, the TT, and we just did a few club races beforehand because at that time he had no money, not much money.
I'm getting a bit confused and a bit foggy, but I've totally forgot.
Prez,
different teams.
Different teams,
I've kind of in my head I've got them as the same people.
No, it's different. It's different teams. Prez is obviously based on the Isle of Man, and Pens is the German squad that obviously are from Germany.
Right, and you've raced for both.
I rode for both of them. Yeah.
Within that same year that he's talking about, he on the KTS bike, he got a podium at the Northwest, second.
Yeah.
It's like second place. He literally just got nicked. I mean. Who was on that? It was
Stefano Benetti.
Right.
I remember watching that
That
race.
footage was unreal.
I got tangled up with a crash. McWilliams crashed in front of us,
That was
and
it.
Stefano broke the bubble. And I had to work my knackers off to get back to Stefano, and I made a mistake and went past him too early. I should have waited.
I just on the drag. On the pattern, where that just outright.
How does your bike compare to a pattern?
Out the corners, the patterns drives a lot harder, but when the Kawasaki gets into its legs, it's probably just every bit as fast. If you watch that Northwest video, you can see him pull away, and when it gets into his legs, it just just reels him in.
Mid corner turn as well. The Kawasaki is more dominant, but when you watch that footage, the pattern just seems to just sit and just drive. I mean,
just drives really hard.
Have you ever had a go on one?
Kevin's best friend Grant. He actually owns Stefano Benetti's that he beat me on.
Right.
And we went testing in Spain 2019.
Was that Calafat?
No, Calafat. Yeah, Calafat. Calafat went there and he had it there and he offered me, but I said I can't. I'd love to have a go, but I couldn't. Not that I didn't want to. It's just I didn't want to go on it and then be upset when I got back on the Kawasaki.
Aye.
Just not that I would be upset, but just it's just one of them things. It's kind of I don't like trying something else that might be a little bit better than what I'm on. You know what I mean?
But almost like trying a different girlfriend or something. Just stick to the one you've got. Yeah.
Now I've got to. Yeah.
But what was interesting though was how you said your Radcliffe year was your breakthrough year. But you see, from that point, you've just gone strength to strength to strength, and that year in particular with the Northwest win, he also. I love bringing this point up because unfortunately it gets under your skin. He almost won a TT that year.
2018?
No, 19. We've missed all sorts of it's mental.
But like you say, we could stay here for days and days.
I've done all. If we could be here for hours, me talking through my career, it's crazy.
Do you know when we did the podcast in 2018?
Yeah.
The TT. Obviously, the rest of that I missed all the racing.
That was the year I rode for Pens 13 and Prez Racing.
Magnetic suspension, not magnetic.
They had
electronic
suspension on. Danny Webb is a lying bastard. He said it was good and it's absolutely horseshit.
Really?
Oh mate, we asked Derek Shields asked if you got Derek Shields' phone number, ask Derek Shields.
I think Danny was making the point that he had a real good guy setting it up. The best.
We had that guy as well.
Oh right, and you couldn't get on with it.
Listen, Derek Shields. I ride Metzler and Derek rides
Dunlops.
Dunlops. Dunlops obviously a harder carcass, and obviously Metzler a bit softer. Derek's just kept shutting down halfway through a lap. So the suspension would go like
rock solid or whatever. Geez, that's
terrifying.
Safety concern.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just I just never. When she'd been, I think it's like you said on that podcast. So I'll actually listen to that one. I actually listened to that one.
It's been great having you, Jamie. Now piss off suddenly.
Danny said that it will be good in years to come, but at that time it was just if I had something else I could have gone a lot better on the bike. I think.
I just want to ask you a quick question about you've just touched on. I'm a Metzler guy.
Yeah.
Is that like do you know how people have like football teams and they're like
Geordies and Mac?
Are you setting your ways and like you're Metzler and Metzlers are the best and you just
no? It's I think it is, but because just the reason is it's just the year I rode for Rick Abbott bought the Honda Fireblade. We bought it from Paget's and Paget said we had to run Dunlops, and I could not ride the thing. It was like riding a bucking bronco. And what I did was I persevered with it at the TT. I had a shit TT on it and did well on the 600 and the twin or the Aprilia, but I went to the Southern 100 and it were trying to kill me everywhere, and I knew I could go well on it round there. And what I did was I put a Metzler front tyre in and left a Dunlop rear in and rid down the road and within about 5 seconds, you could just tell.
Like on it, like so the
It's
sub.
just unbelievable. It just the transformation of the front end.
The sub.
It's like the Dunlop were like that, and every time you hit a bump, you're like. With the Metzel, it's a bit more mushroom shaped, isn't it? And a bit more contact
I'm
patch.
fascinated by that because
I could not literally I could not ride the thing, and I had enough. I said to my dad at the time, it was me and my dad running the bike. I said, I can't do this. I'm gonna have to buy it. We're a part one Metzel that I bought off somebody just to try it to see if it was the bike or if it was the tyre, and it was a tyre.
It's mad, isn't it? Because most people we speak to, I would say, go the other way, and they're like rave on about Dunlops.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to have
I think what it was as well is that you get the top riders at the TT get a special Dunlop tyre that other people can't get.
You've touched on that.
Like,
For example, I got on quite well with Bruce Anster. I do get on quite well with Bruce Anster, and I said to him, he wrote past me awning and said, "Look, I've got these tyre numbers on my tyres. Can you just check if they're the same as what you've got on yours?" And he went up and said, "There's no numbers on my tyres." I said, "Nothing like what I were using." So it was just they were just completely different tyre. So that's why I didn't get it so good. So that's why they're so good.
Right. Okay. Because I mean, you've mentioned in the past that you think that once you get a Dunlop up to temperature, they work really well.
I rode it at short circuits, and I did like club race meeting, but at short circuits, the Dunlop were phenomenal. It was just so much grip. But the thing I got worried about as well with the Dunlop is that it's got so much grip that where's the edge? Where's the edge of the grip? With the Metzler, you know yourself running super stock, you get a bit of feel to when you get to the edge of the tyre, don't you? And it starts moving.
Let's go earlier, but at least it's predictable.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
You just get that wallow.
But it's like a controllable, like, you know, with the Metzler it's controllable. With the Dunlop, you could just lean it over and lean it over and lean it over, and you just don't know where the edge is. You just no feel. I personally didn't think there was any feel at all. Yeah.
The only person I've ever spoke to that's just been like, well, it's just doesn't have a strong opinion.
It's not that I don't get paid by Metz or anything. You know what I mean? It's just literally, just from that experience of that bike with that time, I just thought I'm just going to use Metzler. The
only person that's ever said like the pros and cons of both and they're not bothered is Hutchie.
Yeah.
Hutchie's just I think Hutchie's won exactly the same amount of TTs on Dunlops as Metzler's, and it's basically just put whatever into everything. Most people do. It's just
preference, I suppose. At the end of the day, it's just from that experience I had on that bike. From that day dot, I just done Metzler's or Pirelli's.
It's for people that don't race as well. It's one of those things, especially a front tyre, where it's you're putting your whole life into trust in that front tyre. And if you start to get a good relationship and a good feeling in it, it lets you know when it's about to go and things. You feel a connection and you get thingied. And then if you then
you know you can every time you can push to that and you know what it's going to do.
Yeah, that's
Whereas the Dunlop, I just never got that sensation, you know. So it was I just didn't like the idea of not having that sensation underneath me when I'm riding.
Have you ever tried like a Bridgestone or a Michelin?
I run Avons, but
a lot of people run an Avons then, though, weren't they? 550
Aprilia time. He was sponsored by them, so we run them, and it was still under heavy development at the time, and it were giving way. Obviously, the wear was quite fast, and at the TT it wasn't very good. But it wasn't very good, but it might be all right now. But at the time, it wasn't very good.
All the classic bikes on Avons, don't they?
Yeah, they're phenomenal. Classic tyres are they've been
developed for years and donkey's years. These were like brand new out of the box kind of thing. It was like just literally a new thing they just started. And same again. It was just you got a lot of feel with them. You know, you got some of the sort of feel to the Metzlers and stuff, but it was just like the profile of the tyre wasn't to my liking. It was. You know yourself when you tip. I like a gradual tip into a corner where you can, like, just feel it in. Whereas that you just literally lean over a little bit. Go. You just like the profile of the tire, like a triangle. You know, So you just literally tip it in a little bit. And you just be on your knee straight away, kind of thing, which I just don't like. Yeah. I like a gradual. I know like the short circuit races now. You just like yourself, you probably just fucking fire it on its knee and just away you go. But with the road racing, I think you need that sort of
elegance.
Yeah.
Have you ever done?
I've never described you as me as elegant.
No.
But when it comes to riding, there you go.
Have you ever done any BSB or like Superstock or anything?
No, I've never done any BSB. I'd love to go and do some. I think because I don't think I'd be last, or I don't think I'd not qualify. You know, but it's it's like I said before, it's something that the teams I've ridden for just haven't had the budget to go. But
do you know that's another thing I just find so fascinating. Like when you see the likes of Hutchie and Hickman and Harrison, and they're pushing it so hard on short circuits.
Yeah.
And then they go to the TT, and it is unbelievably impressive what they're doing, but they're sort of practicing it every week in a sort of safer environment. The likes of used to that don't do any of that in short circuits, but then do it on the road. I have so much admiration for you. But it's so much more impressive the fact you're doing it without the practice.
I do get lots of practice, but it's just not at the level that they're at, kind of thing. You know, you go to club race meetings and not like blowing smoke up my own ass, but you go there and you do quite well. You might finish first or second or third, you know. But if you go to BSB, you're finishing first or second at a club race meeting, you'd be finishing like mid-pack, wouldn't you? You know, so it's a different level again. I think to progress with my career, if I can find a ride with somebody, to go to BSB and do some super stocks would be just bring me on a lot, you know.
And even you look at the top lads in club racing, so like Croy.
Yeah.
But then when you compare used to Croy on say the TT.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your fastest lap now?
Oh, don't say
130.4.
I suppose it is pretty close, isn't it? But still, like in terms of like position and where you've been finishing recently, it is extremely impressive. Now, I just want to go back to that 2018 year. So after we did the podcast, a few days later, there was that twin race.
What if that one that year?
No, that was the following.
That was 2019.
Was that? No, that was like the both minging years, to be fair. But that following year was he got podium at the Northwest. And then he went to the pre-TT, he won classic races there, and then he went to the Isle of Man, and did it turn that into a 2-lap race?
Yeah, it turned into a 2-lap race, because obviously the weather were a bit shitty again, so yeah, it turned into a 2-lap race, so it would just literally head down, arse up, and just go like flappers.
And right, let's talk details here.
I'm the fastest Kawasaki Super Team rider around the TT now, 122.8 or something like that.
And going back to big bike, he's the fastest Yamaha. Bearing in mind, the Yamaha riders have been Hutchie's been one.
Connor
Cummins.
William Dunlop.
Dean Harrison.
Dean Harrison actually had the lap time before me.
That's it. So
just a bit of a trivia. That was actually we have a family quiz, and that was one of my quiz questions this year. Who has the fastest
Yamaha lap? So Jamie, and then it was like, and let's talk about that race, right? You've set off. At what point did
you will never believe this? This will never come out of anyone's mouth ever again about the TT. But I actually got held up a little bit by Peter Hickman on the Norton going through. I think that's what lost me the race. To be fair, is it on board?
Peter Hickman lost you the race.
Maybe not lost me the race, but I think it cost me time. Just I lost a little bit of time in that sector.
Back Marcus.
Bloody, I know.
What's that Norton like up in the flesh, like on track?
Yeah, what did you think?
Him riding it were through some of the corners. It was mind-boggling how we could get round them corners as fast as he was doing, you know. But that's where we were making. If you watch the video on the TT, put it on, or the Isle of Man TT.
Is there a full lap of that?
Not a full lap, but it's like literally like a small snippet of. I'm on board and Peter's in front, and it's a few corners where he's absolutely just honking on like, and
he's taken that project on.
Yeah.
So when the Stuart Garner situation with Norton and everything like that, so he's getting the.
He's got the bike. Yeah,
that's a bit of a free rein for Peter, isn't it?
Yeah,
in theory, there's nothing to compare against. He can build whatever he wants.
He can do, but it's these rules and regulations that I don't understand that people are complaining about and trying to put forward and shit.
Yeah, but it would be great to see the Norton out there.
It would be. It'd be nice to see another manufacturer, wouldn't it?
Did you see the Norton Superbike? There's one for sale on eBay at the moment. Yeah, it's I think it's the only one that's sort of known.
Right.
And it's on eBay at the moment for, I think it's something like 32,000 or 33,000. Right. It's a Cam Donald one.
Ah, right.
That must be one of like first generation ones or second generation, something like that. Yeah.
So you've set off down the road, Peter Hickman, TT winner, it's holding you up, and then you've broken him. So at what point did you know, right, I'm leading, because you led it?
Yeah, I think starting the second lap, I took the lead. Mm-hmm. And I think I was leading.
No pit stop.
I think I was leading to the point, like I said, when I got not stuck behind Peter, but Peter was a bit more committed in some of the corners than I was, and I had to roll off a little bit and blah blah blah. And I managed to get past him, and I lost quite a chunk of time in that little sector because I made a lot of time up over the mountain to catch Michael up again to the line or whatever. And I think we lost by 0.1 second or something similar.
That is, behind Michael Dunlop on a pattern, the factory pattern, not like a privateer pattern.
I remember listening to this, and you were so disappointed. It was your first podium at the TT as well, and you were so disappointed that you didn't get the win, which shows a great mentality.
Yeah. It was just I knew what had happened, and I couldn't. It landed. Peter landed at the wrong time. It come out of. I caught him up going through Kurt Michael out of Renkel, and there's like a section that goes right, left, all the way to Balaf. Yeah. And I just couldn't get past him. I could have got past him, but it'd have been unsafe, and I thought, I don't want to...
starting something like number 16 or
15 or something, yeah. I'd only ever done one other race on the Kawasaki Super Twin, and I think I finished quite well, but my lap times were a bit poor, so they put me quite way back. Yeah. And I had to pass. That's what me and my team actually discussed. We said that we were probably going to lose this race because at the time we were fastest in qualifying and stuff. But we're going to lose this race by back markers not back markers, but people in front that aren't just as fast as what we are. Mm-hmm. And eventually it turned out to be the fastest man ever on there.
Another question. From not being a TT rider, I find all these things fascinating. Pit boards. So
I have loads. I didn't used to.
So which part of the track did you know? When did you get the board saying, "Look, you're in the lead"?
They got a guy, Ballacrane, turn right. He's like a little gate hole. As you come out you go drift over to the wall, don't you?
Jesus.
There's a little gate hole. There's a guy stands in there, and he actually does it for John McGuinness there as well. He actually holds the board out, and I knew I was P1 because it comes from the grandstand, so I knew I was P1. But it said like +0, so I knew it were tight as a duck's arse.
So you go over this, say it's June or whatever, and you're going over the TT. Do you get in contact with loads of? Is it your friends? And
people that have helped me. It's people that have helped me out during the years, kind of thing.
Round the full lap, roughly how many?
4. I have 4 now. Initially, I didn't have any, but now I have 4.
Is it just position and
position? How far you are in front or how far you're behind? Like the classic TT, I had 4 out at the classic TT as well.
I've only ever had
I've got one at Ballacrane, one coming out of Ginger Hall. There's a garden on the right hand side. There's a guy that stands there, that gets Balaf. I have one at Goosenecks, which does that just like Balaf, but sometimes you can get Ramsey Airpin. And I've one coming out of the Cregney Bar down the long straight down there. So I've got 4.
I think it's one of those things.
You need
the more
it.
data
You definitely need
more
it.
information, the better, isn't it? Do you, Helen and Phil do yours?
The year at the
bungalow. No, but even though you see Stephen actually did it before then, but that's it.
The year you won the classic 350 classic TT.
I came up the foot.
I was riding around. I thought, because I don't think. No disrespect, but your lap times in qualifying, we want maybe 3rd or 4th or something like that. And I thought, it can't be.
Nothing to worry about.
Not worry about. But I thought maybe he's not going to get high up.
Never.
That's what I know. Yeah. The thing is with Dom, he rides the bike like that year. He rode it week in week out virtually at CRMC. So I thought he's there and thereabouts, but I don't think he's going to challenge. And in the race, I caught Michael Rutter and I caught someone else, and I thought, who the fuck is this? And it turned out it was him, and I thought, obviously I was happy for him because it's an amazing achievement, but I was fucking riding around because I had so many pit boards. I was trying to work out, I'm catching him, and he was breaking away and breaking. I thought, who the fuck is this guy?
That made me laugh. It's because I never did any classic racing. So Jamie started off on classics. I had an SV650 twin, and then we got to that year, and like you say, I think we did 3-4 CRMC. So I knew that's the only racing I was doing. And I got on, I only did one. John was only letting me out in 1 flying laps. I never did a flying lap in practice.
Right. So that's why your times were down, you bastard.
I tell you what,
professional sandbagging.
To be fair, it is though, isn't it? When you think about it, because you lose 15 seconds or something, 10 seconds.
What I really enjoy about the classics, that classic element, is me, Rutter, Lee, yourself, and there's 5. Honestly, there's 5 bikes, and you look at the Sobe speed traps that we've got, fat, thin, and small. The bike speeds through Sobe speed trap are
there's nothing between.
I mean, a fart changes the speed, man. Honestly, isn't it? You just think how Ripley Land. That's 3 different engine builders with 3 different bikes and things. You think, how the fuck is that? And you just think, what the hell's going on?
That is that just because, like I said, with the pit board situation, I had that many pit boards out there that year, and I thought, I'm thinking riding around because obviously you get to a pit board and I'm thinking P2, and I thought I was sat there thinking, who the fuck could it be? Because he can't be in behind me because he's not caught me up yet. So I'll try to work out who it was, and then obviously it turned out it was you,
the Dominator.
I tell you what makes me laugh is that's 4 laps without stopping.
Oh man, it's fucking horrendous.
That's another record he's got. He's the fastest single classic bike around the TT course, 110 mile an hour. That is Norton, a proper brick, like.
Have you got all these titles on your fridge?
Yeah, I've got them on the fridge.
Honestly, there'll be a hell of a book after him. But you see, like when Jamie,
fucking don't mean not though, does it? It just
of course it does, man. But it's of course it means something. But anyway, so when you. when Jamie was at the Manx, it wasn't a classic TT. Like the Manx, it was all integrated, and it was always what the Manx Grand Prix.
The Manx was at one time was like they had the classic bike, so it was like a classic TT, but just not the publicity as what the classic TT gets kind of thing.
It was under one
people
banner.
Going.
Yeah, sure.
The fact, for example, Farquhar used to go and do it. Like Ollie Linsdale used to go, another top TT classic TT rider, and the people used to go, but it just didn't get the publicity of what the classic TT is giving it now and what it's pushing it to. It is what it is.
That was almost the break in it, though, was the fact of like when ex-TT riders came in, it was the Farquhar moment, but you see, it turned up on the pattern. And the
just
pattern
smoked everyone, didn't
it? When the pattern got introduced, it was like 70-odd brake standard, but you see, Jamie is on a single cylinder Norton British bike, and to do that lap speed on that made me hat goes off to you, because that is mate, that is just totally stretching the wires.
Yeah, it's the thing is with it, and you're never going to win the race unless they break down. But I love riding the bike. The bike's amazing. It's like when you get on it, it's just like at one kind of thing. Like we were talking about Tony Bow with that bike, especially. It's just like it's mine. It's like it's, even though it's not. It's just I get on it and it's like an old, as I describe it, an old slipper. Yeah. Get on it. It doesn't matter. It just feels amazing to ride, you know.
You see, that's what makes that particular race interesting with the patterns. Because the patterns have to pit. He couldn't eat 4 laps. Like, Jamie doesn't know a race at the Classic without stopping.
You just keep going. But there were one year, the year that John McGuinness had his accident at the Northwest, and Josh Brooks rode the pattern.
Yeah.
And that was the year we could have won it, but we didn't. But we could have won it. But he came into the pit stop, and I think I was leading it onto the last lap, and he just, because the bikes are fast compared to the Norton, I think he won by about 13, 14 seconds at the end or something like that. But we were so close to doing it, which they'd been. But it's still, to me and the guys that were on the bike, it is a win when we go there, because we're competing against a bike that in the period it wasn't really raced. It maybe raced a few times, but it's not really a true reflection of the class at the time.
But you see, his loyalty to Ted, because like you and that relationship that you have,
it's like chalk and cheese. He's like complete polar opposites. He's just like a nice laid back old man. That, I suppose I'm a bit laid back, but he's just, you don't expect, he spends that much time like developing the bike. It's already developed as fast. It's probably the fastest Manx Norton out there.
Got to be.
It's he's got his own dyno at his house. He's just on there all the time, messing about, doing things.
How much better is that though than having, if your hobbies like going to the pub and drinking?
Oh yeah.
How much better is it to have a classic bike and a dyno in your house and spend all your time perfecting something?
This is how good he is with the dyno and stuff. People come up to him at the classic TT are running like a G50 with a. Because you've got like 3 or 4 different manufactured carbs that you can use. So you might go, I'm running a G50, but I've got an ammo carb on it. I've got this jet in it and this needle, this height. What should I do? When he goes, like, put that jet in, drop this needle 2 clicks or whatever. And when he comes back the next night, he goes, oh, thanks, it's amazing. It's fucking, it's absolutely perfect. You don't even have to put it on a dyno. His nose.
The Barry Sheen, right? The engine. What packed in on the engine?
Oh yeah, this is how much of a trooper he is as well. We had a bit of a problem with a brake fade, so I went out for like a morning warm up on the Saturday or whatever, because we had practice on the Friday, hadn't we? I think, and qualified.
Aye.
Went out, and unfortunately, because Ted had forgot to put like a gauze on the carburetor that stopped shit going in, and he thought he'd left it at home, but in actual fact it was in his toolbox at the meeting. But he actually swallowed a stone and it bent the exhaust valve. But so what he did is didn't put it in the van. He got his daughter, who lives like 3 or 4 hours away, to drive halfway, and Ted drove halfway to meet her to get the valve, drove all the way back, and at 10 o'clock at night, we were rebuilding the Manx Norton engine for me to ride on Sunday.
And bear in mind, that's when he started building at 10 o'clock, and he wouldn't have got the bed. That's my favourite thing about classic race. I've been dragged out my bed by my dad to strobe engines at 3 a.m. by the local police station at Douglas. Innit? The noise in the panic, and you're sitting there with a strobe.
Like you were saying before about the guy from Morello, you just don't get people. There's just people that, if you don't have them sort of people in racing, you won't be able to go racing. It's amazing.
But you're repaying with that loyalty in those results.
Yeah, you get results with him, and I like it. I enjoy riding for him. He's just nice and laid back. We just turn up, and I know the bike's good because he's got his own dyno, so we just turn up and ride the bike, and I love him and the team, Jack John as well. It's amazing.
Getting that win for him on the 350.
Yeah, he's been going a long time. He did the Manx Grand Prix with Alan Oversby before that, and he'd never got a win and never got a finish. And we finished the first year, and then now we got the win on the 350. It'd be nice to. I think if we won the 500, the senior, I think he'd probably retire. and stop, because
really?
it's just that, I think that's his aim in life, is to win that. But
well, it's great having something to work towards. Something I just want to quickly ask you about. You mentioned before you're friends with Bruce Anstey.
yeah,
Obviously he's quite very introverted, and you sort of he doesn't really do much press and
I wouldn't
stuff.
say friend, but he's one of them people that not many people not many people you can just stop and like talk to. You know what I mean? When we're in the paddock,
I was just going to say, have you heard anything?
he just comes. You don't get many people at that sort of caliber that just come to stop and talk to me when we're nowhere. At a lower level kind of thing,
Jamie.
you know what I mean?
Oh, Jamie!
Have you heard how he is?
To be honest, I haven't spoken to him for a long time, but I know his missus keeps putting on Facebook there's some builders working next to their house and they keep working him up, so he's not very happy. It's 7:30 in the morning. But yeah, I don't speak to him in that respect, but it's just one of them people that he stops and talks to me, you know, which I like about people, you know. That's what I like to do myself if people need help, you know what I mean? Or just nice to stop and take time out. Yeah.
I went to Scarborough this year to watch the both times racing, and obviously you've got that twin to an absolute. You know, it sounds perfect. It looks mint. What's the setup there? Is it obviously it's a team sort of setup, but like who runs it and what's? Do they tune the bike themselves or?
Yeah, the team's owned by Kevin Wattrett, who won KW Electrical.
Angry Ginger Scotsman.
Yeah, he's got not much ginger hair left, but yeah, he's meant to be ginger. But yeah, he owns the team, and then but he's got spoiled sponsors and stuff like that, personal sponsors and stuff like that for the team. But and Simon Bleasdale is the engine builder, and Kevin and Simon build the bikes together kind of thing, but Simon builds the engines and does all the data and technical stuff, you know, so no offence to Kevin, because Kevin probably could do the technical stuff, but Simon does the technical stuff, and then they're building them themselves, make all the parts themselves in-house, and then we're just going, nice. Yeah, it's amazing, it's like I said, it's the same as like the Manx Norton now. Initially it were a bit awkward and stuff like that when I first started riding with the bike and the setup and stuff, but now it's like riding the Manx Norton. You just get on it, and it's just so at one with the bike. It's amazing.
Even in the 600 races at Oliver's Mount, you're still holding your own. And
I think
is that about 100 horsepower?
Yeah, it's about, I think it's 98, 96 or 97 or something like that. It's right in that ballpark.
You're racing against like bikes up to like 130, 140.
I think Bonnet race, I think we finished 4th or 5th or something. So it's I know you're never going to win the race, and actually, to be fair, the club didn't want me to ride it in that class because it wasn't meant to be in that class, but in the regs it stated that you could ride up to 600, but it were 600 for 4-cylinder 600s, 3-cylinder 675s, and it said 795 twins, and they said, well, you can't ride your twin in that class. Well, so in your regs it says that you can ride a 795, so I can't ride my 6750 or 650, sorry, in it, and they just said, well,
750,
650, right?
The rumour mill.
Right,
give me your secrets.
You're right. You're fucking put me on the spot here.
Why are you pushing me?
Nose is growing. They just obviously allowed it in, so I just rode it. But now they're going to change the rules, so you can't race in that class, which is a bit of a nightmare.
Because that was a huge that was
benefited for the twins racing, you know. So
it was absolutely brilliant because as we all Dean Harrison is an absolute maestro around there.
Yeah, he's a wizard around there.
And because of he was doing BSB and the track time and everything, Jamie was always fighting against that. So you having that extra bit of track, we're talking a handful of an extra practice or maybe a couple of extra races, but
it just helps, doesn't it?
Massively helped, and you really took the fact that those twin races were brilliant.
Yeah,
you really took the fight to them.
Yeah, just like I said, it helps as much bike time as you can, you know. Because like I said, to be fair, he hasn't done much riding. I didn't do much riding last year, but the amount of riding he does do when he do get a full season, it's hard to jump to that sort of level straight away, you know.
Yeah, you couldn't just pass me a water because my mouth is dry as a man.
Carry on talking.
So obviously, it was in the UK Club Sport magazine, the latest mag that you've left. Is it Prez?
Prez, yeah, Prez Racing. Yeah,
so after 2 years with that team?
Yeah, I rode for 2 years, 18 and 19.
Was that just an amicable split, or you just?
It was more a decision on my part. To be fair, obviously with the current situation as it is. I got a lot of false promises kind of thing for that last season. Like the bikes were meant to be coming across, but then they wouldn't come across. And then I didn't want to go into another year with. I know I've not got a bike now to ride, but I didn't want to go into another year with false promises and not getting to ride a bike again. So I didn't want to no, like I don't want to fall out with John and Andrew because they're a great set of people and they've helped me massively with the bike, buying the bike and doing this blah blah blah. But I just didn't want to go into another year with having to ask to ride the bike and it not get sent over to me to ride. So it was just
time for a fresh start.
Yeah, I even though I might not have or might not be able to get a big bike, I'd rather be in a position that someone that can come forward and let me ride, you know. So if it does happen, I'm in a position where I can, if someone drops out or someone's got a ride off, I can just take it, kind of thing. I say, yeah, I'll ride it.
So right now you've got your Super Twin, but you've got no 600.
Got no 600 or big bike.
No big bike.
Nothing,
so if anyone's listening,
please give me a bike to ride.
Definitely.
No, it's I put myself in this position, but I feel it's going to benefit me because the bikes being on the Isle of Man and the situation the Isle of Man are in, was in with no COVID, and he didn't. It's just difficult. So I just want it to be a clean slate or a clean start.
So moving into the future, let's go to racing politics. TT cancellation. How gutted were you then?
I think everyone knew it was coming, really, but obviously I'm gutted because it's another year not having to race there or going to somewhere that you love to race and ride.
Because that's our selling point, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really for me especially. Yeah,
TT riders, us two.
Yeah.
I feel jobless.
Like I said, it's a difficult to take, but I think everyone knew that it were going to happen, you know, because obviously at that time they had no cases, and with us over here being absolutely riddled with it and blah blah blah. But yeah, it's difficult, but it's just as it is, and we just got to chew on it and just go for it. 2022 we'll be there and thereabouts.
The future is bright.
You should maybe do a thing where you don't shave your beard until the TT's back on.
I made a promise to my lass the other day that I'm not going to shave this thing until COVID's gone.
Look like Dumbledore.
It's going to look like it's got like
Gandalf.
I tell you who you look like.
How Jamie, give us a spell, mate.
Do you know Alan off the Hangover?
Someone said that, yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. But I wish I could go. I am only jealous. I wish I could go.
You could grow a beard. You're growing one now. You scruffy kid. This is around about what 20. Oh, God, I can't grow one.
Thing is with me, if I shave this thing off, it within 4 or 5 days, it just grows back. It just grows like a fucking, I don't know what grows fast, but something that grows fast.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, but without putting you on the spot, I'm trying to think what else we can cover, really. I think there's that many details with your racing.
There's so much shit we could talk about.
It's mental. It's absolutely mental.
The calendar for this, obviously, TT's off. Northwest questionable at the moment.
I think that's going to be off, innit?
I think so.
Yes. Classic TT's off.
What have you got in your penciling in your diary? There's how many Scarboroughs?
4. It's meant to be 4.
Scarboroughs. So
we're doing all 4 probably. Yeah.
All 4 on the twin.
All 4 on the twin.
Looking for a 600
if someone's got one that I could ride there.
What about a classic? The 750 No, the classic Superbike.
If someone's got a bike, maybe I could ride. Yeah, that'd be nice as well. You know, just want to ride anything we can really, just to keep as sharp as possible.
So you're not thinking about doing something? Because I know Harley Rushton, who listens to the show, you'll be begging for a shout out on this one. So Harley Rushton rides for Ted Wolf as well, and he's a fast lad. Harley, like very fast lad. Did his first road race at Oliver's Mount.
Yeah, did quite well to be fair.
So he'll probably be able to dish out some portions.
That's what I said to him. And I said after the meeting, I said, "Look, I may as well retire me and stop now. You may as well take the mantle and carry on yourself and carry on doing some road racing." He didn't fancy it though.
No, there we go. But so you think is that on the table?
I'd like to try and do some of that if I can. But it's just we obviously with the situation we're in, with Ted being vulnerable to the thing, blah blah blah, and
hopefully we get a vaccine soon, and
fingers crossed,
everything will be sound. What about if Macau goes ahead? Is that something that would possibly take it into?
It's having a bike to ride, and I can't go ride on round and run round. Can I? I won't get round right fast with my feet. Got no bike, but if I got an offer a bike to ride, I'd like maybe to go there. You know, just anything really.
And what about this other another race on what's it called, the Isle of Wight?
Yeah, it's another. Same again. I don't have a bike to ride, but if it does go ahead, it'd be nice to go and do it. It's all ifs and buts and apples and nuts at the moment, isn't it? Because of obviously with this stuff that's going on. Mm-hmm. But just anything. Hopefully, maybe try and do some Thunder Sport. I'd like to try and do. We've discussed with the Super Twin lads to try and do the Thunder Sport Super Twin Championship, maybe just to keep your teeth in doing something, you know. So
if Johnny Towers is doing that, well, you're one of us, aren't you? RST sponsored riders. Yeah. So what, you just have to say hello. You're right, like that's it. Hi, there goes your levers, Jamie.
Do you wear the RST airbag suit?
I didn't last year, but I've got offered it this year. But I'm not taking it up on the offer. I don't think. Obviously, for the roads, I don't think it's going to do very much if we fall off. So I think it's probably going to do more damage than what it's probably worth on the roads. But with the 'cause it's not been used properly, has it, on the roads? But the short circuits, I can see it being a benefit. But on the roads, I think it's probably more.
It just needs a bit more time. It just needs a bit more time.
It just needs, like I said, it just needs more development on the roads. I know they had, I think a couple of years ago, maybe 19 or 18 or 19 it was, the Todd and Hutchin kind of Cummins had like a sensor in the back of the camel or the drink thing and taking recordings and stuff. And I think obviously like jumping over Balaf and stuff, it were going off and this and that, and it's just going to take a lot of development to get it right. So it's a bit of a risk running it, and I think it's pretty pointless with the road racing to have it in, you know.
I think we're about time to wrap up, but one thing that I'm really interested in is, and this is when we speak to all TT riders and road racing riders, I love to try and understand the like psychology and the like how you sort of approach the road racing. Obviously, it's there's a lot more danger to like say short circuit racing. What I do, what's your sort of approach to the danger? Do you just sort of
trying? It's I don't really. I just kind of not think about it. But it's
part of it.
It's part of it because I've been. Because it sounds really wrong, but
there's different answers.
Been involved with it with my dad and stuff, and this for so long, and it's kind of like a bit not. It sounds a bit odd, but it's like I do worry about it because obviously I've got children now and a girlfriend and a house and stuff like that, but. It's something I think if you worry about it, it's probably worse. It can be worse for you as well. So it's something you just got to think about when it happens or if it happens, you know. But it's I'm just trying to put it to the back of my mind and forget about it if I can.
From an outside,
I get nervous before the race and stuff. I've like before a race, my rituals like I go for a shower or I have a sleep, go for a shower, and put my levers on and go up to the thing and jump on the bike and go down Braille or go racing, you know. I have like a weird ritual to things like with that, you know. It's something I have like a bit of a cat nap and then jump in on a shower and then go up there and just to keep myself cool and calm kind of thing. It's just it's something I've done all the time. Even like when I first started the Manx Grand Prix, I did that.
You see, like from an outside looking in, the one thing us TT riders, you wouldn't be a TT rider without it, and that's a strong family base.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I got a good family behind me.
Your dad, nice. your other half, Sophie. You know what I mean. And the fact is, like, Sophie's hasn't got the two kids coming up going, "I don't want you to do it." She's fully supportive, 100% behind you. And you couldn't do that.
No, if you didn't have that, I know there's obviously people that do road racing that probably do get that, you know. But it's without that, you wouldn't be able to do it. You'd have to stop. But they fully support me on what I'm doing and what I believe in and what I believe I can achieve in it with it and. With some bikes underneath me, you know, so it's it's like I said, I enjoy being there as well because it kind of takes you, like during the day you can just go off and just do ordinary things with the kids, go to the park and kick ball about and throw stuff at them and abuse them and stuff like that, you know, so it's...
We'll just edit that bit out.
It's just nice to get away from that aspect of it, you know, especially when it's on the TT. So
it is a shame when you talk about progress. It is a shame that this whole COVID spells came at a particular time where the two of you were very much on the rise. Like obviously the last senior TT that you both raced in. Did you finish fifth?
I finished sixth or seventh, I think. Sixth, something like that.
When you think about the people that you raced with and who you're beating, and obviously Dom 10th. Out of, you know, as a sort
year
of
back on the R1 or your first year?
No, first year on the R1.
First year on the R1.
As someone that could just spectate at the TT, you kind of, you know, your big names and your big hitters, and you kind of expecting certain things from like Hitman. But you two are very much the two sort of coming through, I think, very much so. And
it's a shame, but you've got to take it with a pinch of salt because at the end of the day, everyone's going to be in the same situation when we go back. So you might not, like last time we were there, first night, Peter and Dean were knocking out 130 mile an hour laps. When we go back this time, they might do that, but I can't see it myself. It's going to take maybe 3 or 4 nights before they get to that sort of pace. So everyone's going to be in the same boat. So really, we might be a little bit on the back foot, but we're not. Everyone's going to be the same situation. So we've just got to take it, like I said, with a pinch of salt, and then just see how it goes.
You put that much better than I did. Which interview did we do? And I was trying to say that I was like, it was no, I can't remember on. It was I was saying about Glenn. It was like. I stupidly involved.
Yeah, Glenn's probably coming into it at probably a decent time
because
it's going to obviously be a lot hard. It's going to be a lot harder for him, but it's going to be a lot calmer as well because the pace isn't going to be as furious and it's not going to be as ferocious. Whereas if he came into it
It's not an advantage for Glenn, but it's a better situation.
Yeah, if he came into it if we'd gone back 2020 when he were meant to come back with the pace as it was, it'd probably fried his brain for the first few nights that he can't do it be as fast as what he wants to be, because obviously he will be fast if he gets to like the place, but it's just having that, for example, like I think John McGuinness said to you, he said Glenn's going to come to the TT and he's going to look at the lap times, or you might go herring past him somewhere and think, I'm normally smoking this bloke. Why am I so far back? Because he's never been in that position before, So it's going to be a bit weird for him.
You'll be 100% in agreement with me, though. As a professional rider, he will get there.
He will.
His capability, but I think, like you say, there was fit.
Definitely will.
God, I would love to, though. I'm gonna, because normally 1 to 20 seeded riders.
Saying that though, I might be saying this now, but he might go there and he might smoke us. He might be going there, he might hit the ground running kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. So,
but my only aim is first night. I'm gonna miss seeded numbers and wait for Glenn and just
pull over for McDonald's at the bottom.
Honestly, I'm gonna try and do them down in the Braddon and just go, right, someone get a photo, so click, boom, and off he goes.
The thing is as well, there's going to be so many unknowns as well, not just for the riders, for the bikes, because all the bikes have changed. The Honda's a new bike, the Kawasaki's it's the same chassis virtually, but with different things. The BMW's got wings on it now, so that might be different again. The Kawasaki's got wings on it. All these aspects of racing is going to be different.
It's going to be mint.
Here's a question for you, and it might be a difficult one to answer. Considering the position that you're in, but if you have your pick of bikes right now, so you can pick any bike. Obviously, you're a free agent at the moment. Yeah. Is there a particular bike that stands out, or you're open? Or do you see them all as being like sort of?
They're all, like I've just said, it's difficult because normally if you're in the position that I'm in, you kind of know which bike you want to go for because it's proven. But I know the BMW is a very similar bike to what it was that Peter set the lap record on, but it's going to be different again, with the wings and stuff like that, So it's all the bikes, all the manufacturers, even like the Yamaha, for example, that's changing or has changed and that since the year I rode it, or the spec I've got. So it's all going to be a bit unknown, Especially like the Honda's like a completely different bike. And
so do you not really have
I don't really. I'd just like to ride a motorcycle, but any would be any. But it's normally, like I said, you get a bike that's, like, for example, it's been BMW for so many years, so you'd have a BMW, wouldn't you? 2 years ago, or when 2020. But now at the moment, you might have a BMW. Honda might be an absolute weapon around there when they get it there, But so and Kawasaki with the new improvements might be a weapon again, So they're all going to be.
I like how you're covering all bases.
It's not just that. It's just that's how I'm thinking, Like I said, normally you have some that's like.
On the day,
I totally agree with you.
It's like BSB super stock, isn't it? Everyone just goes for the bike that's winning, or it's at the front, or most competitive. Whereas at the TT or the road racing, the BMW's been the bike to be on,
Yeah.
So it's, but now it's going to be like an open book, innit? Who knows what's going to be good?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, exciting times! The future's bright. The future's bearded. There we are. That's it.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast. Have you got anything else to ask, Dom? Good.
Look forward to start smashing each other off the track again. I'm just it's gonna be good, man.
So take care. Thanks so much to our patrons and to Colchester Kawasaki and we'll
and Jamie Cowan. Thank you very much, mate.
We'll catch up soon. Take care, mate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Click, buy, deliver with the 2-time Motorcycle News Dealer of the Year, Colchester Kawasaki, proud sponsors of Chasing the Racing.